I've just completed an awesome nearly 8,000 kilometre, 15-day solo unsupported west-east crossing of Australia. From Steep Point to Byron Bay, ticking off 4 remote intersecting border posts, as well as the geographical centre of Australia, using some of the most remote outback tracks this country has to offer. Come along with me as I battle my way across this big brown land on the trip of a lifetime. Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. In the last episode I made it to Alice Springs to replace my worn out rear tyre, before heading south towards the Simpson desert, stopping in at Chambers Pillar and spending the night at Lambert Centre along the way. In this episode I make it to Mount Dare, prep the bike for the gruelling 500km Simpson desert crossing to Birdsville, before heading out for my first night in the desert. Okay guys, missed it last night coming in because everything had a bit of a flat battery. You get that after a long day on the road sometimes. But made it to Lambert Centre, the geographical centre of Australia. So far now we have done most western border of West Australia, South Australia, Northern Territory and centre of Australia. Popple, Haddon and Cameron Corner to go. On the corner posts and a hell of a lot of k's of dirt road and sand dunes and stuff before that. So packed up, so sort of big campground here. There's lots of area to camp. I hid way down the back behind probably the most atrocious toilet block you've seen in your entire life. It's a deep sandy track to get in here, about 12 k's off the main road. But perfect night. I had the centre of Australia to myself for a whole night, and maybe a dingo that I heard whistling out the back somewhere. So pretty cool to be the only one out here. Anyway, we're going to push on back into Fink, and then I think it's another 100 odd k's down to Mount Dare. Charge everything up, reset, and then push into the desert tonight, I think. There's no point sitting at Mount Dare all day long. Probably be there for a few hours while everything charges and I get a feed and prep the bike and all of that anyway. So yeah, we'll just push into the desert and see where we get to tonight. Seeing as we missed it on the way in last night, we'll try and film a little bit of the track out. Hopefully I'll do a better job on the way out than I did in, because it's deep sand in spots and it was pretty wild, and like all the bends, this is where I struggle, just this slow creep in the sand, because the weight of the bike, it doesn't turn particularly great from the back, so you gotta wrestle it around a bend and then you turn the bars too tight and all it wants to do is fall down. So anyway, it's good practice for the Simpson later, and yeah, it's a pretty windy track in, it's heavily corrugated in spots, it's deep sand in others. It's only 12 k's long, it doesn't take particularly long. A lot of people are reporting anywhere from sort of 25 minutes to 45 minutes in a car. I guess, yeah, the bike was probably a good 15, maybe not even that. I was just taking it really steady because I did nearly come off in a big way, and I was getting pretty tired and fatigued last night. It was a big ride down, all the way from Alice to here last night, and again another hour, 130 k's getting into Alice. But yeah, all in all, it's not a bad road in. It's got if you want to come to this part, and I suggest if you're anywhere near Fink, you'd be mad not to. Like at Fink, it's 32 k's out, so you know it takes you an hour and a half to come out from Fink and back, and then you can say, hey, I've been to the centre of Australia. You know, you're in the bloody area. That's my theory, is if you're that close to something, go a little bit further. It's not that far out of your way. Alright, so it does have a few little keep left options and stuff like that, but yeah, being pretty much that I'm the only one out here, it's probably safe that I can go either direction, but your natural tendency is to stay left. And yeah, anyway, there's a few sections also that are deep washouts.
I remember the very first video I caught of this was a Shadow of 75 video, and he was in here on a 1090, and he hit one of these big washouts and got the bike stuck, and had to take all his panniers and everything off to get it out. And end up, even then it took, he was just about to get it out when some people come along to give him a hand. So they're the sort of things, you know, you want to look out for, and you just got to be careful of, especially if you're in here solo. But he's a good rider. He was going to get himself out of it without any dramas, and yeah, we push on, guys. I'll see you in Fink. Alrighty, guys. Well, back in Fink. I've just grabbed a bit of fuel and made it over to the start of the racetrack and have a go at how deep the ruts are where the boys all took off. Holy heck. So they all obviously take off out of here in a hurry, head that way, and they head home for Alice. So like 240 k's back to Alice. Just getting punished again. They're keen. Anyway, we made it to Fink. You. But we're going the other way. We're headed that way to Mount Dare, 113 or 14 k's, something like that. Not even that far, I don't think. And then yeah, as I said earlier, recharge everything, reset, and get this poor old girl hopefully desert ready. Get me desert ready. Righto, see you all.
Although the trip from Fink to Mount Dare is only short, it sees one of the most dramatic landscape changes. The further you go, the more the countryside opens up into large open plains of nothing but gibber rock and large clay pans that still held water from the recent rains.
Well, there it is, guys, through the trees, the Mount Dare Hotel. We have made it. Oh. Slow down, like it says. That is a big truck. Well done, Mick. Well done, Mike. Far out. She's busy here, guys. Righto. Alrighty, guys, it begins now. We've been to Mount Dare for a few hours, charged everything up, loaded the bike up. Jeez, it's heavy. With the extra 16 litres, nearly 17 litres of fuel, they took about 8.5 each. 6 of water in the back, 6 of water on my back. Let the bike get a bit of heat in it. Track conditions apparently good on the Simpson. The big old recovery mog. Here's hoping to God we don't see that again. Alright, we'll start to make a mile. We'll head down to Dalhousie. Might be like the first stop. God, the backpack is so full it barely fits on. Yeah, we'll head on our way and see how we go. I've just heard from the guys here that the run down to Dalhousie is actually not so bad at the moment. The most of the gibber rock is sort of pushed into the mud, so fingers crossed we don't have to deal with too much rough road. And then yeah, we'll stop at Dalhousie for some photos and stuff. I'm not going for a swim, and we'll push on and see how far today gets us. The weather's cool, mild. It's a bit windy, so we'll yeah, just hope for the best. The bike feels very heavy, so hopefully once we get out of here a little bit, we can get some of this fuel off, and in the first few 100 k's, and yeah, we'll go from there. Just got to kill this ABS because it's gonna kill me otherwise. And yeah, we soldier on. 70 k's to Dalhousie Springs, and we'll see you down there. Alright, you might not be able to hear me out here. We're only 14 k's out of Dalhousie. We're out onto the Gibber Plains. Anyone who's been out here knows what this is about, the Gibber Rock. Apparently the track's in good condition. A lot of the rock's been pushed down into the mud of late. It is just empty vastness out here. There's nothing out here except for rocks and little bushes. The front tank's still dribbling out of their fucking breather. Probably because I jammed as much fuel in that tank as humanly possible. So over the rough stuff, it's just coming up through the breather and the cap. I don't know what that's about, but hopefully we don't lose too much. Problem is it stinks, and I don't want to have a fuel fire. I'll get down to Dalhousie about 80 k's and I'll crack the taps on it for maybe 20 or 30 k's and suck a bit out of it into the back tank and then shut it off again, and then rely on the fuel bladders for the next bit after that. I want to get those bladders off soon though. They're bloody heavy. They shake and they're bouncing up and down obviously on the panniers, so I'm just keeping an eye on them that I don't lose the bloody things over this rough crap. Yeah, they bounce up and down on the panniers. There's a lot of stress on the pannier clips. It would probably well overloaded with that extra 6 or 7 kilos of fuel sitting on top of them as well. I don't have anywhere else to put them, so they've got to go there, or I'm double stacked on top of the top bag, which I think would be even worse. So probably should have done some more testing rather than just static testing it in the shed at home, how well they'd sit on them. But anyway, the bike's heavy. Might pull up at like 50k mark and just readjust everything, straps, and yeah, see how we go. It's a long way to go. We'll knock it out 1k at a time. Alright, we've come up on bikes. There's other bikes. That's an exciting scene because I haven't seen bikes in a minute. They look unsupported too. A couple of 701s and so similar, you know. Oh shit, that's big. Holy Jesus, that was massive. That was massive. Slow down, dipshit. Holy heck. If that didn't break something, we'll be so fucking lucky. Wow. They came over that really aggressively. So I just thought it must have been pretty flat, but holy shit, we caught some air time off of that. Alright, slow down, idiot. That was crazy. 20 k's out of Mount Eyre and fucking tried to send it to the moon fully loaded. Yeah, fuel bladders have shifted a little bit, so just going to pull up and readjust them and keep going. Alright guys, first 80 odd k's down, we've made it to Dalhousie Springs. Road actually wasn't too bad. Pretty rocky in a few spots, but otherwise pretty good. So just going to walk out over the springs here, touch the water I guess, take a few photos and keep moving on while we still got daylight. Oh. Well everyone, that was Dalhousie. Off to the Simpson Desert we go. Getting a couple of cars, I'm just going to have to pass. They took off ahead of me, but I'm sure they'll let me around nice and easy through here. And we'll be on our way. So yeah, it's just started lightly sprinkling rain, which is not ideal. But anyway, we're in no rush. We can survive if it rains, and yeah, we soldier on into the I'd call it the great unknown, but it's not. It's pretty well known. It's been pretty well documented. Everyone knows what the Simpson Desert's about. slow and steady wins the race. We'll go as far as we can tonight, and hopefully make it through to Birdsville tomorrow. The publican, or the barman back at Mount Dare, told me he'd checked the weather radar today and the weekly forecast, and said good weather, all clear. The fact that it's drizzling, slightly drizzling, like it's not too bad, it's still cause for concern. We're only 86 k's out of 550 odd, and yeah, I hope the conditions weather-wise improve. It looks pretty clear over in front of me, and sort of, it's hard to really tell what direction's what out here, but it doesn't look too bad over there. So fingers crossed it's just some of these random clouds up here just having a little bit of a drizzle, and hopefully don't get a wet camp and a wet desert to push through tomorrow, because yeah, wet desert wouldn't be very much fun. It'd be good, maybe helpful on the sand, so who knows, maybe it'll be a bit of a blessing if the sand's damp but the clay pans don't get too damp and slippery. We might be alright, but if the clay pans get slippery and boggy, that's where I'm going to get into trouble. Now, thankfully I know there's plenty of vehicles out ahead of me. They were all leaving Mount Dare today while I was there. I just passed a large group back at Dalhousie. So there's vehicles pushing out this way. There's sure to be vehicles coming from the other direction, and I'm sure everybody will be more than helpful if I require any assistance. So anyway, we push on. So far the track's still this lightly sandy, rocky stuff. I believe it's like this to Perny Bore, and then the real fun begins, I think. I just stopped to crack the fuel taps because my front tank's leaking, and here we go, this guy, brazen nose, coming straight up to me. Wow. Alright, they're out here. I heard them last night yapping around camp. That guy just came straight up to the bike while the bike's running, like it wasn't even there. These bladders are super heavy on these bags. I busted some clips on the bags. I'm going to assume when I went airborne over the cattle grid, made mention of the cattle grid to the people at Dalhousie, and it caught everybody out. So yeah, that's a wild one to keep an eye on if you're coming south out of Mount Dare. It's one cattle grid, I don't know how far out it was, 20 or 30 k's, maybe a bit more, and it looks like it's going to be alright, but the track just dropped away, and they even said in their vehicles it caught them out by surprise, and it was pretty rough. So none of them was surprised when I told them that I got airborne off it. So anyway, we push on. Alright, we're crossing the clay pans about 20k short of Perny Bore, and you can see if it was really wet how vehicles could get bogged on these things very quickly. Thankfully they're dry and they're dusty. It's rain to bugger off. Perny Bore 18 kilometres on that sign, so yeah, hopefully the rain buggers off, because it's not ideal. Yeah, it's going to make it a pretty average night camping if I'm camping in the rain. Anyway, we'll press on, get around this car, and continue on into the desert. After Perny Bore it starts to get serious, so see you there. Okay, we've made Perny Bore. Pretty good ride in. Just starting to come into the dunes, and a few camps here, so I'm just going to pull up under the roof. Oh, yeah, a few dunes in. Very first one had a bend in it, and I had a bit of an excursion. All in all, bike's travelling well. Gotcha straps are struggling on this fuel battle here. I'm going to fix that up now. Yeah, we'll probably soldier on a bit more, just purely because the sun's still up, I think, for a bit. I'll check the time and see what's going on. But yeah, so far so good.
After stopping at Pony Bore to adjust the straps on the fuel ladders, the weather continued to worsen, and with sunset only an hour or so off, I decided to make the smart decision and make camp under the only roof in the entire desert, and wait it out until morning.